Welcome to this overview of AMP Sell, AMP selling tool specifically designed for the iPad. This is a pre-recorded session, but if you do have questions, on the left side of my screen, we have our contact info for our support team to answer your AMP questions. And if you're interested in other AMP products or what else AMP can do, you're more than welcome to reach out to our sales team as well, and I'll love to dive into the details for you there. So this is AMP Sell. You can find this by searching the App Store for iOS, just by searching AMP, A-M-P space Sell, S-E-L-L, and it'll bring up this results with this green logo here. Got it pulled up now, so I've already downloaded the app and tapped on it to bring us to our login screen. And a couple notes for this login screen. One, you can toggle on to save your password moving forward. With this toggle here right below the password box. And to the right of our password box, we have a Forgot Password button. If you ever forget your password, just give that a tap, type in your email address, and we'll send you a new temporary password. I've already got my password filled in. It's just invisible right now. But I'm going to go ahead and tap the Login button. And that'll bring us into the app. And the way AMP is structured is a kind of simple left to right flow on the bottom of the screen. So we have these tabs, these 5 tabs on the bottom of the screen: User tab, Manufacturer tab, Customer tab, Products tab, and Proposal tab. This flow here is for your order writing process. So each one gets you closer to the end of writing an order. So as we move through this overview and as you work on your sales, you'll be moving left to right in the app. And at any point, you can jump to a different tab. We don't lock you into that flow either. So starting with our user tab, which is up right now, we have our list of manufacturers we sell for on the left side. As an admin, I have access to a bunch here. You may only have one. If you're missing any, reach out to your employer, and they'll get you added to their AMP account. So I've selected Greenlake for this presentation. It's a little demo database we have. And what we want to do is hit Sync Selected once we've selected our line, because we want to be sure we have up-to-date information. So if I go and select Greenlake and then tap Sync Selected on the bottom of this list, that little blue button there, it'll run a update to go talk to the server, be sure we have the most up-to-date photos and pricing and whatnot. If it is not up to date, it'll say Sync Required in red. And when it is up to date, it'll say up to date in gray there, that gray text to the right of the company logo. So that's the most important step on this user tab, is to be sure you're working with the most up-to-date information, specifically because AMP is designed to work also offline. So we recommend running an update the day before or before you hit the road. And then you can work completely offline, fill out your orders. You can still go into this app and do everything you need to do within it offline. And then when you get back home or back to the hotel and you connect to Wi-Fi, it'll shoot off all of those orders you've written for the day. So be sure to update your info. The other important buttons on this particular screen, we have Change Password and Email AMP. So if I change password, it'll bring up a dialog box to enter your current password and then enter your preferred password. You may want to change the temporary one we give you to start with. It's just a random set of letters and numbers. Probably want to personalize that one to a more memorable one. So you can always do that. Then you also have this Email AMP button, which will reach out to our support team directly. So if you have any questions about the iPad functionality, maybe you believe it's not syncing or something's not behaving, reach out to us and we'd be glad to look into the issue, or even if it's training needs, feel free to reach out to us as well and we'll get those questions answered for you. And then we also have this news feed below these buttons. We update them occasionally with handy information, like our little training location over at High Point for the High Point market. You can schedule a one-on-one during those market days, and glad to meet you. So moving over to our next tab, moving left to right, we're going to open our Manufacturer tab next. So on the bottom of the screen, to the right of User, tapping on Manufacturer. So we've updated our catalog. Now we're going to go check our notes for the line we're selling for. So we have three important functions again on this screen. We have an email button on the left side. This will email the order desk of that line. So if you have questions about pricing or products, you can reach out to the office right away within the app. Shoot off your email there. We also have a Documents button to the right of that email button. If I open that up, we give the companies the ability to upload any additional information that may be handy for sales. So they've uploaded a credit application here. So I can open up this PDF, review it, and in the top right corner, I have a share button, and it'll bring up all the share options that Apple provides as far as documents. Also go into other folders. So if there's additional photography to be seen, or videos, or spec sheets, all of that can be uploaded by the manufacturer here for ease of sharing for you guys. And then on the right half of the screen, we have all of our sales history for this line. And it is chronological and listed here. Most recent order is at the top of the list. So I can scroll through my order history. I can tap on any of these orders. It'll open up that order. So I can review a past order. I also have the option in the top right corner of the screen to print or resend. So send this back out in an email if that's requested. And then if the line you're selling for also uploads order history manually, so maybe they have past order history before joining AMP, or additional notes that they attach to these orders after they've been processed. You have another tab in the top right corner here where it says Office/All Orders. The terminology may change depending on the company, but AMP orders means any order written using our sales tool. Office orders are orders uploaded by the company that you're working for. So if I tap Office orders, I'll get another list. These are in blue. So these have already been processed by the company and loaded back into AMP for review. Sometimes you get some estimates in here or order statuses, but these would be the official orders fully processed and captured there. So you notice above these orders we have additional statuses, and these would be set up by the company. So additional functionality there. So that's the manufacturer tab. It's really a place to go review notes from the company and also reaching out to the company with that email button. So again, moving left to right on the bottom of the screen, I'm going to open Customer. So we've updated our catalog, we reviewed our notes, now we're ready to start working with our customer. So we're going to select the Change Customer button right in the center of the screen there. And this will show me a list of all the customers that have been assigned to me as the sales rep by the admin of the company. If you're missing anyone from this list, I recommend going back to that manufacturer tab and emailing the order desk that you're missing some assignments from an official customer that you should be working with. If you are in a pinch and need to write an order with somebody maybe you just met today and they're not on this official list, AMP does give you the ability to add someone temporarily. So if you look at the top of this list of customers, we have a blue plus sign there. If I tap Add New Customer, it'll give us a little form to fill out. And the only required fields are the name of the customer and their email. We recommend, if possible, to fill as much as you can. This will help out the admin who receives the order so that they can go ahead and input them correctly. And that way, once you do their credit application and whatnot, the admin can add them to this official list here in white. And let's do a little test here, adding a new customer. Let's call them Test Customer. And test email here. Now when we go back, notice a customer I add as a rep on my iPad is going to be highlighted in blue. This is to call attention to the fact that they were created by you and not by the company. The reason this is important is the company will only hold sales history for the official customers. And your benefit as well, if you log in on any device, whether on an iPad or on a computer, these official customers will travel with you. These blue customers, they only live on your iPad. So for all intents and purposes, only you know about this customer if you add them, which would definitely hamper your ability as far as being flexible and maintaining sales history accurately. So it's really meant for a one-time use, maybe 2 times, but you'll want to have these guys converted to official customers. And when they do get converted to an official customer, what you'll want to do is simply swipe left across this blue line, and it'll reveal a red delete button there. I'm going to go ahead and tap that delete button. And this is also kind of a first instance of how AMP never actually gets rid of anything. If you'll notice, there are 3 tabs above this list: an all button, an active button, and an inactive button. Active means I have a cart currently filled with some of my customers. So if I tap on active, it'll show me that I started to write an order for Hyatt and Bob and Costco and so on. So I can go and tap on these customers and immediately jump back into that order that I was writing for Bob here. Going back to that customer list, if I tap on inactive, this will show me the customers that I've created on the iPad and have since deleted. But I can always tap on these guys and actually go right back to them if I need to. So again, AMP doesn't really like to get rid of anything. We just like to hide it for your convenience, and we don't lose any important information for you. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to scroll on this list, select a random buyer here, and you'll notice when I have this customer selected, their customer information goes into the top left corner and their name at the top of the iPad moving forward, so I know who I'm writing an order for. And let's pick a customer that has some order history too. Let's fill out the screen a little bit. All right, so now that we have Hyatt selected, in the bottom right corner, we have sales history specific to that customer. So all the orders I have written as a rep for Hyatt Project Seattle. So similar to the manufacturer screen, this is all the orders I've ever written for Greenlake, the manufacturer. But on the customer tab, these are all the orders I've written for Hyatt Project. And again, I can tap on these orders, review them, and resend them out as well. Then on the left side of the screen, across from that order history, we have a little merchandising report. If you want to keep track of the items you've sold to this customer, where they are, if they're on the floor, unfloored, or haven't been decided yet. So these are items that we've sold to Hyatt. If I tap on that red unknown flag there on the left side of the screen, I can say, oh, they have this on the floor right now, and this guy is unfloored, floored, 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 unfloored. Now when I go to those tabs, I'm keeping track of where they're moving those items around when I go and visit them. And then the neat thing about this, if you maintain this kind of organization, you can tap on these items and it'll bring up kind of a historical report of, okay, back in March, I sold them 22 of these. They've now got 5 on the floor, and so on. So kind of helps you to project popular items or items that are not being shown anymore. So that's the lineup area on the left side. And then lastly on this screen in the top right corner, we have assigning price lists to our carts. So in AMP, we allow you to write up to 4 orders at a time for any one customer. So you have 4 carts that you can fill up. And for these carts, depending on your line, you could assign different pricing. So my first cart here, that currently has one item in there. If I look to the right of that number 1, it says East Coast Warehouse. If I tap on that name, I can switch that cart to be West Coast. And then if I go down and make assignments for all my carts here, so maybe my second cart, I want to be FOB, and my third cart to be East Coast, and my fourth cart I'll leave on per item. Now, depending on your company, per item allows you to assign pricing per SKU, so you can have a mixed order using different price lists, and I'll demonstrate that here in a second. But now we've got our cart set, so when I return to Hyatt Project 6 months from now, these carts will be remembered. So I don't need to make these assignments again. This customer will always have West Coast as their first cart, FOB as their second, and so on. So to recap this screen, since there's a lot on it, the customer tab, that middle tab, its main purpose is selecting who we're working with. So that's that middle button in the middle of the screen to change customer and selecting them here. To make that selection a little easier, if you have hundreds to choose from, you do have a little search bar at the top there. And this will search even the address as well, so Seattle. It'll bring that up too. So main purpose, selecting who I'm working with, and checking my past order history for that customer. And now we're ready to move on to the Products tab. So moving left to right on the bottom of the screen, we're going from Customer to Products. And now we are in the product catalog for Greenlake. And again, we see we're writing an order for Hyatt Project at the top of the screen. Now we're ready to start navigating the catalog. First thing to take note of on this screen, you look to the top left corner where it says Slideshows. Right now, we are viewing the full catalog. That's what's shown right below the word Slideshows. If we're at a market, or if we want to look at maybe some hot items, the line has the option to carve up the catalog to show a smaller selection. So if you tap on Slideshows, you can switch this view. Instead of looking at all of the SKUs that this company offers, we can look at just the high point walkthrough. So tapped on that, notice the name has changed to High Point or HP Spring 2019. If I tap that again, I can switch to Hot Buys, tap it again, go back to the full catalog. That's an important thing to keep note of, especially around market time. Moving down that left bar, we have a search bar. So here you can type in general searches as far as terms, SKUs. It'll bring up anything that applies within the data. It'll show the entire group that may contain that search. So within a group, maybe there is a chair along with some other items. It'll show you the entire collection in this group. You have a search bar there. Then below that search bar, you have a list of filters. These filters can differ between your lines. Some will have just collection, and then anything beyond category, well, anything beyond collection really is a custom filter inputted by the company. So I can tap on collection, look at the 7,500, and that brings up all the 7,500 there. Category, category. One important note about the filters, they do interact with one another. So if I select a collection that does not have Onyx, it'll show me no result. So you'll get this view here. That means one of these filters does not work with the other. So I'm going to go ahead and remove Onyx, and so on. So that's a quick way to shrink your catalog view down so you can navigate a little faster instead of scrolling through all of the items. You also have the ability to email the full catalog out. If you look at the top of this list, right below the customer name and above these product photos, it says email full catalog dense. If I tap on that button, what AMP will do is generate a spec sheet. So it'll gather together all of the product photos and product information here into a web link that you can email out to your customer. So it'll live in this web link here for 90 days for them to review that product information. And then if I apply a filter to the catalog, so let's see. So I want to look at all the blue items. And now that email button at the top of the screen says email filtered catalog. So it'll only grab what applied to our filter there. All right, so that's how to navigate this full catalog view, kind of trim it down. And then we're ready to go into one of these product pages. So let's open up that second page there. So give that a tap. This will take us into that group or collection. And this is kind of the standard view. You can swipe left to right on the screen to flip through the catalog to different pages. You can also swipe up on this screen, and it'll go into a list view of all the SKUs within this page. Swipe back down. If you do the pinch and zoom on this screen, that iPad function, it'll go to a full screen of that collection, and you can also flip through the catalog like this, maybe for presentation's sake, and then pinch back out. So that's a two-finger pinch, kind of squeezing and pulling on the iPad there. But in your standard view here, on the right side of the screen, you have the list of SKUs as well, and you can pull up and down on that list to scroll through those items. And then there's 3 buttons under each little SKU box here: a details, a photos, and a cart button. So let's go into that first button there, the details button. And this will show you all the information that's been uploaded by the vendor about this particular item. And if it is a new item, kind of a neat little trick here on this details screen, there's a notes button in the top right corner to the left of the X there. If I tap on that notes icon, as a rep, I can write a note to myself about this item. So it'll always live on this details page, and only I, as a rep, can see this. It lives on your iPad. It lives under this details button. If I go back to details, there's my note. If I want to get rid of it, just go ahead and clear that text, and now it'll shrink down that notes box. All right. And then that second button, the photos there, see if we can find a collection that has supporting images. Here we go. So that camera there, if it's filled in gray, that means that the admin has uploaded supporting photography. So let's go and tap that camera. This will give you more images to look at for that item. Because oftentimes this main photo here is a group shot, collection shot. But if you want to know exactly what that particular SKU is, maybe it's a nightstand. That's what the nightstand looks like. And the company can upload as many photos as they want. AMP has no limit on that. So you may see a lot of angle shots or diagram type shots as well. And then lastly, I'm going to use that cart button there to the right of the camera to add that SKU to my cart. And notice we are using our first cart at the top of this list. At the very top right corner, we have 4 shopping cart little icons there, and we're filling our first cart. And if you remember, we assigned a certain price list to that cart. So that cart number 1 is using West Coast price right now. I can hit the second cart there and start writing a second order. And then let's jump to our fourth cart, per item, and I'll show you what per item, how that operates. So in per item, we'll be presented with a range for the price here. It says for that first SKU, $525 to $530. This is an indicator to me that it's not a set price, so I must have to select a price list. So when I add this guy to a cart, there's that range. If I tap the cart again, it's going to bring up two things. One, this little calculator where I can change the quantity. Maybe I want to add 5 of these guys. And then, because I'm in per item, I have to select what price list to assign to these 5 queen beds here. So I'm going to select FOB. And now that range has disappeared and it has sat at $26.50 there. And I'm going to hit done to close this window. Let's go back to our first cart and keep filling out this guy. So I'm going to tap on cart. I can tap on cart again, or I can tap on that orange quantity button. Either will bring up that calculator. And hit done. Also notice at the top of the screen, top right corner, right below those carts, as you fill your order, we'll keep track of the cubes and the total cost there. And for those of you who need to apply finishes or different colors or fabrics, you can also duplicate a SKU. So you can say, for example, maybe this queen bed, I want 2 of them in red, and then I'm going to hit the duplicate button. So right to the left of the done button, I have a duplicate. So I've added 2 in a theoretical red color and 1 in a blue color. So you also have that ability as well. If you need to add an item twice but not have them add up, assuming that they are different. All right, now that we have our cart filled, we are ready to move to our last tab, this Proposal tab. So moving left to right, Products to Proposal. So when you first come here, you'll be directed to this Presentation view. If you look at the top of the screen, we have 3 tabs here: Presentation, Proposal, and Order Form. So Presentation, it grabs your cart, which we're using our cart number 1 here. And when I hit that Send button, it'll generate a spec sheet. So that same spec sheet we saw earlier in the product catalog. And we can also, by default, it shows the entire collection that's associated. But if you notice on the left side of this spec sheet view, we have a couple toggles here. Chosen SKU only will only create a spec sheet for the specific SKUs you've added to your cart. So I'm going to toggle that on, and that'll shrink that product list here down a little bit. And then if you want to show pricing on this spec sheet, we can also do that. I'm just going to toggle on all 3 of them. And it'll populate that price right in the middle there in the green text. And again, we hit email. It'll bring up a little email draft. There's that blue link to view the spec sheet. And then you can tap into the email body and customize the message and then send off that email in the top right corner with that send arrow there to the customer to view those products. And then moving left to right at the top of the screen, we're going to tap on Proposal. Now here's all the items we've added to the cart. Here you can add a little estimation. So if you want to estimate the margin for your customer, you can do that. You just tap on that yellow box there under the margin column. I'm going to make 55 there, and so on. You estimate the shipping costs if you want. So you just go ahead and fill this out as much as you can. And now when you hit the Send button, again, you'll be shown the spec sheet view. But this time when you hit Email, it's going to take those estimations you made and input it into the body of the email. So to help kind of push that sale forward, give the customer a little bit more information. And above that, of course, is that blue link to the spec sheet. And then lastly, we have our order form. So moving again left to right at the top of the screen, tap on order form. The top portion is the typical order form information, the bill to, ship to, and so on. Now, from line to line, there could be custom fields. We have 2 custom fields on this company. So those are those red or pink fields there, order acknowledgement, and contact info. But everybody else will have at least the fields above those 2 fields to fill out. It does auto-populate. If they're an official customer, it pulls right from that customer selection you made in the middle tab there under customer. But you are also able to tap into these fields and make edits. So if I tap into purchase order number, I can go ahead and add that text as well. And scrolling down a little bit, notice on that blue line in the middle there, we have the name of the price list that we've written this order for. If we notice, oh shoot, they're actually East Coast, you can tap on that name and switch them to East Coast, and it'll make any necessary updates there. And again, you can tap into these yellow fields to make edits. Maybe notice on that first item, they actually want 16 or 19 of these. You can change the quantity there. Clear that effective cost there. Effective, if you know there's a promo going on and the price is slightly off, you can change the price manually. It'll highlight in bold blue text so everyone's aware that you made an edit to the price. And then below the quantity on the left side there, below where we added 19, you can also write a note for that SKU. And it'll highlight in pink for the order desk and the customer to see that you've added a note about that item. In the bottom left corner, you also have a bigger notes box. And that'll will highlight in pink on the email. And this note would be for the entire order itself. So notes for the SKU and notes for the entire order. And then notice to the left of the little thumbnail, there's a little X there. If I tap on that X, I can remove SKUs. Maybe they don't actually want these items. I'm going to go ahead and remove them. Then we get to the bottom of our list. We notice there's also a blue plus sign. So maybe I forgot to add an item. So here you can search for the SKUs if you know them offhand. And it'll bring up whatever results apply. And you can actually make multiple selections in this view. Hit done on the keyboard, and it'll add those items immediately to your order form. If you need to clear the order, at the bottom of this list, notice there's a clear order button right in the center there. That'll throw the entire order into the little trash can, and you'll have another cart to use. And then lastly, we're going to hit that send button in the top right corner next to order form. And for this company, we have 3 options. You can send the official order, send print order. You can send a draft, which will send an email to you and the customer to review one last time before they give a thumbs up. And then you can send a quote. Quotes are optional between companies, so you may see this, you may not see this, but quote will send that draft to you, the customer, and the company. So the company gets a heads up on the pending order, but it'll clearly say quote all over the order. So let's go ahead and hit send print order. Just like everything else, we generate an email for you. They get that spec sheet. At the top of the email, they get a breakdown of the order form with our notes and all the order details. And then that sending off button in the top right corner to send it off to the order desk to process. So that is how you write an order in AMP. A quick recap moving left to right on the bottom of the screen. The user tab is for updating your catalog to the most up-to-date information. Manufacturer is checking my notes for the line I'm selling for and reviewing old order history. Customer tab is for selecting the customer I'm working with on this official customer list and reviewing past order history for that particular customer. Product tab, navigating the catalog with these filters on the left side of the screen, going into a product page and adding items to carts. And then Proposal tab, am I sending them a presentation with some estimations, or the official order to process. So that is our overview of AMP Sell. If you have any questions, please do reach out to AMP support at support@amptab.com, and we'd love to hear from you. Thank you.